Hello and welcome to Georgia Bulldogs Live here on the Georgia Voice of College Football. This is the instant reaction show from that amazing Georgia-Tennessee game you just got finished watching. I'm Matt Green. There's my co-host over there, Bo Underwood. Bo, how you feeling, sir?
Matt, I'm feeling a lot of things, man. Above all else, I'm feeling good, but good heavens, man. Did we just watch ourselves a football game or what, man? I was texting you a little bit. I wanted to give you some breathing room. I wanted to give myself some breathing room, but I feel like we're both just in a state of shock, man, especially watching the last, 30 real minutes of that football game from 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, 6 minutes in the fourth quarter to when it ended. It was just like, whew, man, this is why we go so crazy about this stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely, man. It was incredible, man. There's nothing like letting the performances of 18 to 22-year-olds impact our mental and physical
Oh, it's the best.
well-being. Yeah, man, it was incredible. When Georgia fell down 21-7, it was just like it was starting to feel a little like Alabama a year ago. Like, are they just gonna blow our doors off here? Can we not stop them? So the fact that once again Kirby Smart was able to kind of, Tennessee hadn't gotten off to this hot of a start, clearly, because they hadn't scored over 17 in any of the games, but they showed the graphic how Tennessee's led in the first quarter every single time Heupel and Kirby have met, and then Georgia makes the adjustments, shuts them down. It looked like the same thing was happening in this game. Like once you got to that what do people always call it? Like the Kirby death march
Yeah.
was basically that first drive of the second half. Georgia's kind of took. It felt like just Georgia had all the momentum going into the half, and then they just come out. What I wrote it down here. What was it? 14 plays, 13 runs, 75 yards, 7 minutes and 41 seconds. And that what would that put up Georgia 24-21? Like early in or I guess halfway through the third quarter. It felt like Georgia was in control of the game. I think they went 3-and-out on that next drive. Like it felt like everything was kind of going Georgia's way, and then all of a sudden Tennessee kept making big plays. And I don't know, it was just an insane game of one team taking all the momentum and then the other team responding. Like, I don't know how many times Gunnar Stockton and Georgia took the field just under what seemed like a must score drive, and over they just got it done.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I feel like the number one takeaway from this game overall, just from something of a neutral fan perspective, as much as you and I want to be neutral on this show, is like, man, we just witnessed an all-time great college football game. I mean, this is one of the greatest football games I've ever seen played by any team, much less the team that, that I cheer for, the school that I went to. But I mean, holy crap. Yeah, you said it, man. I mean, the amount of times we knew going into this game that it's a tough environment on the road. It's an SEC team. It's a highly ranked SEC team that really wants to beat you. Hasn't beaten you since the Obama administration, and would like nothing more than to impose their will on you. And give Tennessee credit, man. The first thing that I really want to do talking about this game is give Tennessee credit, because I mean, they walked the ball down the field against Georgia's defense on multiple occasions. And I'm sure that you and I are going to get into what that means for the season in a little bit. But man, the amount of times that Tennessee just had some crazy drives and took it down the field and really stuck it to this Georgia team, and then Georgia just being able to respond over and over and over again throughout this game, and being able to hang around in the game and just surviving in an environment like that, man. I mean, I this Georgia team really surpassed the expectations that I had for it, man. This was a young, untested team that a lot of it was going to depend on the coaching and just the intangibles and just the type of group that this is and the type of coaches that they have, and what they can get out of these players who haven't been there and haven't done it on that level yet. But man, I feel like everything that you need to know about the makeup of this Georgia team and just the way that these kids are wired and just the way that they play ball, I feel like you saw it tonight, man. Like,
Yeah. Because it was one thing we talked about when we had Chase Thomas on the show last week was 2023 when I said it was Dylan Sampson. Who was the running back again that broke the
Jalen Wright.
Jalen Wright. When Jalen Wright broke the 75-yard touchdown first play of the game, like that was essentially my worry, was that like Georgia gets punched in the mouth like that early and the crowd is going insane. Like, does this team crumble? You know, do they have what it's made of? Does the quarterback have what it's made of to just still be locked in and answer every time? And that's essentially what happened. You know, it wasn't the same like going down 7-0, but like you went down 21-7. You had the 73-yard bomb to Chris Brazzell like early on. Like just you had the tidal wave going against you. And Gunnar Stockton just continued to respond. Like it was incredible, man. It didn't feel like the kind of game that Georgia typically wins. You know what I mean? Like traditionally in my fandom. And now it's like, you know, there's these games that feel like Georgia kind of stole this one. You know, it's like I think we could go through the season and this could still be the 4th or 5th best team on Georgia's schedule by the end of the season. And no, like shade at Tennessee. Tennessee looked like a really good team today.
They're fucking good.
I mean, they look better than Texas. That's for sure. So maybe they're better, but I think still, even if it is the 4th or 5th best team they play, going on the road and this being the first one, I still felt like it was the most dangerous game of all of the. Like I just didn't know how this team was going to respond going into Neyland Stadium, and I mean, it couldn't have been any better. Like, I don't want to overreact about Gunnar Stockton, but I think like he was not perfect today by any means, but I think that Gunnar Stockton proved he's good enough today. Like, honestly, like Georgia's offense was the reason they won this game today. Like the defense gave up, what was it, 40 points or 41 in regulation, 38 in regulation.
I mean, 40, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you won a game where your defense gave up 40 points. Like that Georgia, Kirby Smart Georgia football teams don't traditionally win those games. And so it just, the fact that this team found a way to win. Can we put some respect on Mike Bobo's name? Also, just like dialing up some things, man, all day. The screen game was going strong, just like busting out the 3 tight end formation in overtime for basically like the first time in the game that led to the long Nate Frazier run. Like that was just a great designed run there at the end in a clutch moment. The touchdown, and I've always said this was my biggest concern. We've talked about all off season. Gunnar Stockton's legs have to be a part of the game plan, and 38 yards and a touchdown, man. It's like it just has to keep the defense honest. Like there was that one 3rd and 2, like kind of early that it felt like he should have been able to make that, but I think Gaston kind of missed a guy. Mm-hmm. We can get into the offensive line because that could still be some worries there. But it was the touchdown throw to London Humphreys is the most clutch Georgia play I can remember in a long time, to be honest. Like going back to like David Green to Michael Johnson type stuff, like Stafford to Mikey Henderson, like, and that was on 1st down, so that wasn't even the same like level of clutch, but like. I mean, Stetson did it in there's too many throws in that Ohio State game to pinpoint one for Stetson, but like it really was like, I'm like 4th and 6 late. Like I felt like Tennessee was sitting at like 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4 the whole game. And Georgia's sitting at like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 consistently. And so sitting at 4th and 6 there at the end, like this is the ball game if Georgia doesn't convert it. I will say, to quote Larry Munson, I gave up. You did too. There was a time where I definitely didn't think Georgia was winning that ball game. And for him to hit London Humphrey, just a perfect throw, a perfect over-the-shoulder catch, like just so damn smooth, man. That was a performance. And then the 2-point play as well. Mike Bobo doesn't get enough credit for his 2-point plays, man. Like Zachariah Branch just broke that guy off, but. Yeah, man, Gunnar Stockton, you have to, especially what the narrative about Gunnar Stockton was coming into this game, you can't be anything but thrilled with Alabama on deck. Like, this is just a massive win. this game and Auburn are by far really the only two true road tests Georgia will have all season. I think no disrespect to who. Mississippi State, is that the other true road game?
Mississippi State
In
and
Tech. In
no,
Tech is because
Tech
Tech and Florida.
Tech is a neutral field. Like
Yeah,
it's
there'll
really
be more Georgia fans there for sure.
Well, Auburn is the big one for sure.
So that's the only one. So this was just such a huge just checkpoint, I feel like, on Georgia's schedule, and they got past it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, before I really say anything about the offense, because I mean, I'm sure, I mean, you and I both have a hell of a lot to say about Gunnar Stockton, I'm sure, because good God. But I really feel like you have to start with this defense, man, and what Georgia was able to show throughout the game after getting punched in the mouth that early. I mean, give credit to Tennessee, man. I mean, they scripted up a brilliant couple series to start the game. They walked down the field on their first drive. They walked down the field on their second drive. They walked down the field on their third drive. I mean, they picked up everything. The only third down they didn't pick up, they got the first down because of a suspect penalty on Ellis Robinson, who, again, we will get to. We will talk about the cornerback in a second, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, no, man, I mean, the Georgia – to give up, whatever Joey Aguilar's stat line was pretty stupid looking after a while. It was like he was, 16 of 16 throwing the ball for 245 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. I mean, like, they were getting the ball down the field at will. And what this defense was able to do, what the front four was able to do to collapse the pockets in the second half of the game, the way they were just able to make the quarterback a little bit uncomfortable in the second half of the game. Like, they went from allowing just about everything to not letting anything up. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like, you and I are going to talk about how resilient the offense was and the type of game that Gunnar Stockton played, because he does deserve, good Lord, Gunnar Stockton hung in there all night. But I really feel like this game starts with the fact that the defense looked like Swiss cheese for the first 3 possessions, and they didn't play. They still played like they were pitching a shutout the whole rest of the game, and
I think that's fair. Jonel Aguero, I think this was the best game of his career as a Georgia Bulldog. Like, he had the pass breakup with that hit, made a couple nice tackles, the interception at the end of the first half. Like, I feel like Jonel Aguero was making a lot of plays, and that was interesting. On that interception, he was the deep safety on that play. So. Yeah, man, this was Joey Aguilar at the start of that game. I mean, also, can we talk about Nico too? Like, UCLA losing to New Mexico.
UCLA, man.
This is just wild. That was just a curveball that was just totally thrown at them. And I was not overreacting to the first 2 weeks because, like, whatever, they're scoring 70 against East Tennessee State. Like, teams do stuff like that. But this, like, Nico rarely looked as good. I don't know if he ever looked as good as Joey Aguilar looked in this game. So I mean, Tennessee might be legit this year, like, because if they have an upgrade at quarterback, if they can be as good defensively as they were a year ago, like, this team is going to beat a lot of teams on their schedule. And that's another thing. If this team defensively is what they were a year ago, then I think Georgia's got a legit running game. Like, 198 yards on the ground in this one. Tennessee was the number 1 run defense in the SEC a year ago. Yeah. And that you had that, like we already talked about, that drive to start the third quarter where you just dominated them physically. Like, it felt like the game was kind of, I don't know, everyone was kind of waiting for that game to be over. I'll be honest, if I was a Tennessee fan early in that third quarter, I would have been like, oh my God, will Herb Street and Fowler quit jerking off Georgia? You know what I mean? Like, they were loved. They're like, hey, you can get off to a good start the first quarter, but can you hang with can you get in the ring with the heavyweight? Like, they were like essentially questioning them, and, like, maybe rightfully so, because over 4 quarters, these two teams played to an exact tie. So Tennessee is definitely, I also wonder, is this like a linear progression of Tennessee being a step closer to Georgia each year? Or is this a Georgia team that's a little unproven, and this is in Knoxville, is this the closest they're ever going to be? And once Georgia kind of has a little more returning production next year, they're back to being more of a juggernaut. Like, that also remains to be seen. So I don't know, man. This was such an amazing performance. Like, the running backs in this one, like, I was surprised when I saw the final stats for Bowens, just 12 for 32. I think it's because he got stopped on a few short yardage ones, but I feel like Bowens looked really good in this game. Frazier, 14 for 73. Phillips with 5 for 29, kind of that change of pace guy. And then McCray with 2 touchdowns. He appears to be that jackhammer that you need, that Georgia was kind of missing a year ago. He was the guy that was able to get in on short yardage and the one in overtime to win the game.
Yeah, I really feel like to what you were saying just a second ago, I think this is the type of the game that shows that Tennessee is just about getting there, man. I mean, I know that, like, to put yourself in the shoes of a Tennessee fan tonight, like, that's a devastating loss. Like, that sucks. Like, because you had them, you really did. But I feel like Georgia just did a great job of keeping themselves on schedule with the run game. It lacked a lot of explosives. There were not many plays where Georgia was, getting blocks in the second level and breaking one off. And I know you said Chauncey Bowens had a very modest stat line. I feel like Chauncey Bowens just was not an effective runner at all tonight. I feel like whenever Georgia gave him the ball in short yardage, it just didn't work.
I think that's true, but he had a couple nice little runs where he made guys miss. Long 13.
Yeah, and he did, but like so did Frazier and Phillips. I thought he easily looked that. I thought Frazier looked really good tonight. I thought Dwight looked really good tonight. The limited action they had, but I mean, I think the number one takeaway from this game, at least from my perspective, as somebody who was, sounding the alarm about Gunnar Stockton all week and all of the yapping that we did leading up to this game, was Gunnar Stockton is really good, man. And the number one, like, if your quarterback can respond like that on the road in Neyland freaking Stadium of all places and hit those kinds of throws, I mean, you said it earlier, like, that throw that he hit to London Humphreys, man, on 4th down by 8 points. I mean, that's not just a regular throw. That's not a throw that you just hit because it's there. That is a play and a half. And I really feel like this is a coaching win, man. This says a lot about the way that this Georgia team is built. This says a lot about the fact that this Georgia team has been here before. They've climbed back from a lot of things before. They've won national championships. The coaches on this coaching staff have seen them do incredible things. And you see that belief permeate across the whole team in a game like this, where at multiple times the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. The offense was running into walls. Things like that were happening, and you just never got that sense on the sideline for Georgia that they ever felt like they were going to lose this game, man. I just really feel like this is I don't want to get in my, football buzzword bag too much, because at the end of the day, you got to play the guy in front of you. You got to win the games. But I really feel like this is a coaching culture type of win for this team, man. I mean, there are not a lot of teams that come back from that type of game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And if you look at this stat line right here by Gunnar Stockton, 23 of 31, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 38 yards on the ground, and a touchdown. I don't know how you calculate quarterback rating, but that's what it is. It's 177.9, essentially the same as Joey Aguilar in this game. I would have said, if you showed me these stats before the game, that was I got a little crystal ball, these stats before Saturday, I knew nothing else, I would have said Georgia won in a blowout if Gunnar Stockton is doing this. So the fact that the defense is getting scored on, like, you needed Gunnar Stockton's arm to make the plays to win this game, and he went out and did this. Like, it's such an impressive win. I don't think even someone who picked Georgia to win, I do want to hype myself up for picking Georgia to win and not cover. I was dead on that. But for Georgia to win a game like this, I just said for our guests, I should say, I don't think it's surprising for Georgia to win this game, but for them to win it like this, I don't think anyone was really expecting just this type of performance where Georgia's quarterback had to go out and basically win the game, and he did. It's got to make you excited about this team moving forward.
Absolutely. I mean, if you had told me, I mean, you can go on our show, you can go on our YouTube shorts, you can go on our YouTube videos, and there is probably 20 minutes of me going into this week being like, I don't know if they can win with Gunnar Stockton. I don't know if Gunnar Stockton can push the ball downfield. I don't know if he can hang tough in the pocket or whatever. And I feel like I'm justified for feeling that way. I watched the whole Austin Peay game, and I was very concerned about, his behavior in the pocket in that game. But good Lord, man, whenever they needed a big time throw out of him in this game, they got one. I mean, that was really like, yes, they ran a ton of screens. They ran a lot of design stuff that made it easier for him. But when Gunnar Stockton needed to hit the vertical stuff, he hit it. And that's something that I felt like going into this game, if Georgia's offensive lifespan was going to rely on Gunnar Stockton hitting the downfield stuff, I wouldn't have felt that good about it, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, he hit every single one. I mean, first play of the game, hits a dot to Colby Young. And he like that fourth down and London Humphreys at the end, like that is a throw and a half, man. There are not many Georgia quarterbacks that don't hit that throw. Like it says, like I hate to just harp on the intangibles because I feel like a lot of time there you're just kind of making stuff up in your head and just attaching it to the results of the game. But dude, like that kid looks like a leader, and he looks like a guy that can. I mean, when the going gets tough, you just need a guy in the huddle that everybody's gonna believe in. And I mean, Gunnar Stockton looked like he earned his stripes in this one, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you can't say enough about Gunnar Stockton and how he played in this game. It was just and yeah, I'm glad you called out the that's another credit I give to Mike Bobo, that both those throws, the just to come out the first play of the game and hit Colby Young on a deep shot. That throw to Colby Young and the one to London Humphrey, like the guy isn't even really open there. You just had to kind of drop it in the bucket, and he just made a perfect throw on both of those. And I think that's what a lot of people question was Gunnar's ability to hit those touch throws downfield. And those were two perfect throws he made in this game. Like he may have missed a couple, like, that'll happen, but he made some clutch throws, threw for 300 yards. Like, man, I can't say enough about Gunnar Stockton in this game. I will say Georgia, as far as like a negative is concerned, like Georgia's got to be better in the red zone. I think that we could let's be honest. Let's be real here. If Tennessee hits a 42-yard field goal, we're not talking this positively on the show right now. You know what I mean? 42 yards and Tennessee wins, and they beat Georgia for the first time since 2016. And Josh Heupel is the real deal. Tennessee's a top 10 team. They're a legit playoff contender. Yada, yada, Aguilar, Heisman candidate, whatever you want to say. The narrative is just completely different if they hit that field goal. They didn't hit it. Georgia did. And I think if they hit that field goal and Georgia loses this game, we're all talking about, it wasn't terrible. 5 trips to the red zone. You got 3 touchdowns, but you settled for 2 field goals when you had goal to go. And then you also had, which wasn't even a red zone attempt, on the KJ Bolden interception where they start on the 37-yard line and only, I think, get like 5 or 6 yards and then settle for a field goal.
That's a gift for at 3 points.
Man. Yeah. So it's like you didn't get 7 in 3 different instances in this game. That I think at one point, I guess I could do the math in my head, but at one point Georgia had scored 6 times and Tennessee had scored 5 times. But Tennessee was winning because they were scoring touchdowns. And that was almost the narrative of this game, was Georgia's red zone struggles would have been the reason they came up short in this game. They almost came up short in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll stand by it now because the game's over. Like, I really hated the call at the end to kick it instead of go for it on 4th and short. I mean, I really thought that's the kind of call that, like, you don't come all the way from your own 4-yard line to kick a fucking sorry, Mark, to kick a freaking. You don't come all the way from your own 4-yard line to kick a field goal inside the other team's 5. That was a 12-play drive or however many plays. Like, I
So
thought
which drive are you talking about? Tennessee's drive at the end of the game?
Georgia's last drive before the half. Now, like, they started that drive at their own 4, and they worked their way all the way down the field, and then they had like 4th and 3 at Tennessee's 5, and they kicked the field goal. And I'm just always in favor of going for it there, man. Now, of course, they got it, but I don't want to harp too much on the 4th down decision making in a game that Georgia won, because I feel like that just doesn't make sense. So the big negative that I'll bring up is
here before you move on to anything else. I do like that decision to kick, because I would, if we just had a poll to just send out to every Georgia and every Tennessee fan watching that game,
for sure.
The second they kicked that field goal, we went into the half 21-17. I don't know any Tennessee fans that felt good about 21-17 going into the half. And I think about 90% of Georgia fans felt amazing about 21-17. We get the ball to start the second half. Like, it felt like we played as bad as we possibly could have there for like 15 minutes, and we're down 4. Like, it just felt like Georgia had all the momentum. So it was 14 plays, 88 yards. I feel like you had to come away with points. If you get nothing there, I think that's a big momentum for Tennessee going into the half.
Yeah, no, and I understand that. And I mean, I like ultimately, that train of thought is the one that prevailed and ultimately proved correct because Georgia won the game. But I just feel like football should always be about like maximizing positive plays instead of minimizing negatives. And when your offense has already driven 90 plus yards and you're facing a 4th and short inside the 5 and you're down by 7 points, I feel like you should try to score 7 points. I just feel that way, like, obviously it worked out fine for Georgia. They won the game. So nobody is going to be second guessing that. And I'm not even going to second guess that for any more time because they won the game. But that's just how I feel, is like, you should be trying to win the game at all costs. But anyway, they won.
Yeah. 1st and goal from the 6. They got the 300-yard run from Frazier, and then Stockton was sacked. Then it was 3rd and goal from the 7, and then he ran it down to the 2, Stockton. So I don't know. I just vibes wise, it didn't feel like we're kind of physically dominating them. Let's go ahead and punch it in. It felt like, I don't know. I always kind of feel when it's a 3rd down, it feels like they can't stop us right now. Let's keep this going. And right, I don't know. I didn't have the vibe of like, even though they did go 88 yards on that drive, obviously we don't have to rehash it and everything. It worked out for Kirby and everything, but yeah, to the 2 for 2 on 4th down. There was also the one on that 2nd touchdown drive. Was that around midfield where they went for the 4th down like pretty early? Like that was a big call for Kirby to go 2 for 2, be aggressive.
Yeah, that might have. I mean, like, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. Like, I'm a Dan Campbell disciple. So like I'm just kind of wired towards going for it on 4th down always. But like, I just feel like if you believe in your guys, man, and it's less than 3 yards, especially if it's less than 2 yards, like, trust your guys to pick it up, man. And I feel like Georgia did a good job of that. But I do have one negative that I want to yell and scream and sound the alarm about in a second.
Okay. Hit me.
Dude, the man coverage in this game from Georgia was abhorrent. It was terrible. It was awful. I mean, this was a hell of a game from this entire team. I mean, it's one of the most spirited comeback efforts I've ever seen Georgia make. And this win says so much about the way that this team is wired and built. And it really shows that they can come back from just about anything. But I'll be damned, dude, if they didn't look lost in coverage during this game multiple times. I mean, that Ellis Robinson touchdown, dude, the get fried off the line, commit PI, and then still allow a 75-yard touchdown. And then Daniel Harris did the same.
Yeah, that was my thing. If you're gonna get PI, just tackle him, get a 15-yard penalty. Don't give up a 50-yarder or 70-yarder.
Get on the ground, man.
Yeah.
No,
No, I think that, and then Daniel Harris, I'm not gonna sound
Daniel
like
Harris.
a Homer fan, but I feel
Dude,
like that Brazel did exactly the minimum amount of push off that you're allowed to get away with, but he definitely affected his jump. Like as he like pushes off his shoulders, but it is what it is. He got away with it.
yeah,
He got mossed.
dude.
But yeah, I think that's one of the more discouraging things. Like Dalen Everett, I think gave up one big play I can
Taylor had
remember,
a good game.
but yeah, I think Dalen Everett we all just feel good about on that
Yeah,
side. So after this game, and Tennessee's receivers could be greatly improved this year. Brazel looked damn good. I thought he was having his damn Jalen Hyatt game on us there
he
for a
was.
second, but Mike Matthews, the former 5-star, like a lot is expected of that guy. So Tennessee's receivers could be very good in the league this year, but yeah, I don't feel any better about that second corner spot after today because both guys got a little abused at times.
Yeah, I mean, and I've got to definitely go back and I've got to watch the game again because I don't really know how Brazel got deep on those plays. All I know right now and all that's in my head right now is he just fried Ellis and fried Daniel Harris on both of those plays. But Tennessee loves to run their shotgun spread stuff where one guy just runs a deep choice route and gets open and the quarterback throws a dot. And Joey Aguilar was on point for most of that whole game, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's just all that was going on. But either way, man, this game did not make me feel great about Georgia's DBs going up against SEC athletes one-on-one. I think that safety help is going to have to become much more of a priority for this team going forward against vertical offenses. I just think that they're going to have to be more conservative. I don't think you can play nearly as much cover one as this team played in this game. I think you've got to keep stuff in front of you. Because, I got on here last week and I said that I thought Georgia had 3 starter caliber players at corner in Dalen Everett, Daniel Harris, and Ellis Robinson. Ellis Robinson does not look like a starting caliber SEC defensive back right now.
Mm.
I absolutely think with my chest and with my throat and with every fiber of my being that he will be a starting caliber player. I said with my throat, that's crazy. I fully believe that Daniel Harris or Ellis Robinson will be a really great player in the SEC. But after watching tonight's game, I'm not sure if that's right now. I think it's going to take a little bit longer. And I think just based on the fact it's going to take a little bit longer, you're going to have to live in a little bit more zone coverage than you want to. But there's a certain DB on Georgia's defense that had a great game where you feel a little bit better about doing that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Speaking of your throat over there, it sounds like
Yes,
where were you
hey,
watching? Where were
no.
you watching?
We're not speaking of anybody's
Where were
no.
you watching the game? You sound like you lost your voice a little bit. You were yelling and screaming.
I lost my voice. I watched the game in a place where I watched the game in downtown Athens. That's all I'll say.
Good stuff, man. It was
But,
it sounded like a little Aaron Murray-ish. You with a losing your voice a little. It's like a little scratchier. Little Aaron Murray vibes.
I just feel insane for saying that now.
What's
Damn.
that?
I just feel insane for saying never mind. Let's talk about football. Let's keep talking about football.
We don't have to rehash it. It happened. You're just gonna have to live with it. But yeah, man, it was a great performance. I think the biggest thing, yeah, those are really my only real negatives is like, yeah, there were some easy ones that Gunner could have hit, but he made so many clutch throws. And the red zone got to come away with more touchdowns, and then the defense just giving up so many big plays. But Tennessee wants to run the ball a lot and to at least hold them to 125 on the ground, force 2 turnovers. Like I felt like this defense, especially with how bad, I don't have it like broken down with like first quarter stats, but I think I think on the broadcast at one point, I think it said why am I Aguilar? I was blanking on his name for a second. I think it said Aguilar had 212 yards in the first quarter. So ended up with 371 in the final 3. So what is that math there? 150
He was
in
like,
the final 3 quarters of the game. So obviously Georgia made some huge adjustments there.
dude, he completed his first like 15 passes of the game.
Yeah.
They did such an incredible job of establishing the run, and then on top of that, they could just set up any RPO that they wanted to. They could set up any play action pass that they wanted to. They did a really good job of getting Georgia's DBs one on one, in the deep field, and I feel like both times they really got that, they exploited the heck out of it. I mean, they got Chris Brazzell deep twice, and he scored twice. I mean, Daniel Harris and Ellis Robinson both have very incriminating tape against them after this game. Not to say that I think both of them are going to be NFL players for sure for a long time, but I mean, golly. I do want to talk about the O line for a little bit. I don't know how many
Oh
thoughts
yeah, good call.
you had about that, but Georgia started Dontrell Glover in this game, and I thought he held up very well. They started like Dontrell Glover tonight against Tennessee looked a whole lot better than Josh Jackson looked against Austin P last week. I thought I
Yeah.
and that's not a joke. That is a very sincere opinion. Like I thought Dontrell Glover looked really good tonight. And also, I mean, they had Marmer Freeling playing left tackle for most of the game, and they had Ernest Green playing right tackle, but there were some
And did
penalties.
Ernest Green, was he hurt or did Ernest Green get benched in this game?
I don't know actually, Matt. I'm actually not sure because you saw him on the sideline a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I guess neither of us really know, but
Because Michael
yeah,
Ewini played some right tackle and I think was getting kind of abused. Bo Hughley we playing 3 right tackles in this game.
Hughley looked
So
really good.
yeah, I mean maybe he was big time recruit. Maybe he can be the guy at that right tackle spot, but I'm definitely a little concerned. I don't know, Gaston. So wait, so did Glover start at the right guard?
Gaston started.
You said
Glover,
Glover just played early?
Glover, I'm pretty sure Glover. Okay, I might just be completely talking out of my neck right now, but I'm pretty sure what happened was Gaston started and he was a little bit hobbled, and Glover came in.
Okay, because I was thinking I saw Gaston early, but I couldn't remember.
Because Gaston played for sure.
Yeah.
Gaston was in the game. 73 was in the game.
Yeah, so I don't know. That is a concern. So the fact they were still able to run for 198 on Tennessee, like it wasn't great protection on Gunner, but I mean, was he only sacked once or twice? I don't remember exactly.
And
How
one
many
of those plays,
3 sacks Tennessee had in this game.
one of those sacks was totally on Gunner too. Most of them were not. And I thought Gunner, I mean, dude, for a guy that was 0 for 4 with -3 air yards per attempt against Austin P last week when pressured, Gunner was dynamite against pressure today against Tennessee. I mean, I really feel like we cannot understate how huge of a return Colby Young is for this team. To have an outside receiver that can actually just create a hair of separation one-on-one and have that make all the difference. I mean, man, I don't want to bring up number 11 for Miami too often because I know Georgia fans get upset when we do that. But dude, like Gunnar Stockton with outside playmakers can triple the ceiling for this offense because they had nobody like that last year, late in the year.
Yeah, we probably haven't said enough about the receivers in this game because
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
There was, and obviously we probably need to wrap up here soon, but there was a lot of just solid, clutch catches that they just had to make that weren't easy. Like the 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 7s, just what's that?
Number 1, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Zachariah Branch is everything he was advertised to be. But even London Humphreys making some clutch catches, like Colby Young making some clutch catches, just like feel like Gunner was throwing some fastballs on some of those 3rd down conversions, and they were making some tough catches. So you gotta say a lot about these receivers in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about Zachariah Branch. I really do in a second, but I feel like you have to start with what London Humphreys did in this game, man, because London Humphreys is a guy who, his tenure at Georgia has maybe not been what it was quite billed to be when he first transferred, right? He was this
based on his transfer portal ranking,
Yeah.
basically.
Yes. Essentially that. But like he was this crazy portal guy out of Vanderbilt, and Georgia's losing Ladd McConkey. They're in need of another receiver who can make plays out of the slot. I'll say that. And London Humphreys is immediately a build as the new Ladd McConkey, and he has that great game in Clemson week 1. He has a 40-yard touchdown and everything. But aside from that, he's been underwhelming, and he has that really bad drop on 3rd and 3 to start this game. And I don't know about you, Matt. You're probably a much more level-headed football fan than I am, for sure. It's based off of the text messages that you and I have with each other during a game. You're definitely the more rational guy.
I try to be.
But I was like, dude, for a second, man, when Lon Humphreys dropped that dime from Gunnar Stockton, I was like, man, Lon Humphreys wants to transfer from Vanderbilt. He's the hands guy, can't catch all that. But dude,
take his scholarship.
4th and 8, man. Team is down by 8 points. You need a touchdown more than you need air to breathe. And Gunnar Stockton drops that right in the breadbasket, and Lona Humphreys catches it
such a smooth slide too. It was just such a smooth catch. It was
everything.
It was excellent, man.
Everything about it was just smoother than a baby's bottom, man. I mean, a great route, and that was a great play. But also, what I was originally going to talk about was Zachariah Branch, man. Matt, you obviously know a lot. I mean, you've got way more skin in the game than me when it comes to just Georgia football players. And I was there. I've been there for Mecole Hardman. I've been there for Isaiah McKenzie. I've even been there for Demetrius Robertson. God bless my soul. But Matt, I really don't feel like Georgia's had a player like Zachariah Branch ever. I don't think that kind of guy's existed on this roster before. To see him turn that 3rd and 7 screen in the first half into a touchdown, that was not happening for Georgia before this year.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think he, speaking of Isaiah McKenzie and Mecole Hardman, I feel like he is like a hybrid of those two guys. Like you wanted Mecole Hardman, like he was so insanely explosive. Like it felt like he was like a step away from taking everything to the house. But if he had just like a little more wiggle, he probably would have. And Isaiah McKenzie, obviously he had speed, but he was
just all the wiggle.
He was 100% wiggle. Yeah. And then it's like he just didn't necessarily, obviously, and he's such a smaller player too. He's like 5'6", 5'7". Like
and he played in the NFL for 6 years, man.
Yeah. No shade. I love Isaiah McKenzie. Human joystick. But yeah, he feels like a more reliable kind of every down version of one of those guys. I mean, Isaiah McKenzie had his year where he led Georgia in receiving, Kirby Smart's first year, but I don't know, Zachariah Branch, it also didn't feel like a good thing that he was the leading receiver that year. So it's like Zachariah Branch, I think, is just, he feels like everything he was advertised to be to this point. And that's exciting for sure. Noah Thomas still has not made much of an impact to this point. Little surprised about that, but yeah, I'm so happy Zachariah Branch is what he was advertised to be. It appears.
Yeah, I mean, Zachariah Branch, just this is not to just make something up about a football player, but I really do feel like Zachariah Branch just moves differently with the ball in his hand. I just feel like he, going into the season, it was like, okay, yeah, this was, the number 1 receiver in his recruiting class and everything. We know he's a great athlete, but he only had 500 yards or whatever at SC. But when he has the ball in his hands, he just hits his top speed at a gear that should not exist. I mean, they're throwing him the ball laterally and he's turning it into touchdowns. It really does feel like this is the first round kind of guy on Georgia's offense, and I think that's going to take them pretty far this year. Georgia, I'm not going to be I will never harp on a lack of talent for Georgia football, especially these last few years, but I really feel like where they did have something of a talent deficiency relative to the guys that were playing in the SEC last year was you're a top end SEC program with no receivers, that really make an impact late in the game. And I don't think that's the case this year, man. I think they have dudes.
I think so. Like and maybe not even like superstars, but just the Marcus Rosemead-Jack Saints of the world that just like make tough catches in traffic, like and just do their job. They block and
Look at Humphries, man.
Exactly. But I think that's all I got for the Georgia game. For the hate watchers out there, Miami did end up beating South Florida 49-12. And if it makes you feel better, Carson Beck threw for 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, and did throw 2 picks. So if that makes you feel better, he still turned the ball over. He did have a rushing touchdown in this one. Alabama dominated Wisconsin. Ryan Williams had a big day. I wish we were doing this after all the games were over, because we're gonna see some great games here. They're just starting the second half. Yeah, A&M up on Notre Dame at the half. Florida, LSU up 13-10 at the half on Florida. Vandy up on South Carolina at the half. Arkansas, Ole Miss in a good one here in the second half. But yeah, other than I guess the biggest story from the early games was, I don't know who I was rooting for until it started, but I was definitely rooting for Tech to win. I don't know what that says about my Georgia fandom, but yeah, seeing Clemson drop to 1-2, man, that's wild.
Yeah, the football fan in me could not keep from rooting for Tech, to be honest, man. I know that there are a bunch of Georgia fans just performatively rooting against Tech no matter what, and I do respect that. I do respect the disdain for the rivalry.
I respect the old-fashioned hate, of course.
I have the utmost respect for somebody that just can't stand Georgia Tech. I really do. But like, that was an awesome game, and I did want Georgia Tech to win. And man, that November 28th game in the Benz is looking like a lot of fun, man. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, maybe we should be a little worried about it. Haynes King is a baller, so we know Buster Faulkner and everything.
It's week 3. It's September 13th. I'll go on record right now saying I'm very scared of Haynes King, man. Haynes King is a guy and a half, dude. Haynes King is one of the best players in the country, and he would like nothing more than to beat the Georgia Bulldogs, and it's going to be
for sure. You saw Brent Key's reaction a year ago. He broke down. Like he really wants to beat Georgia more than anything in the world. But yeah, that's a long way away. We'll get to Georgia Tech. What is it? The Invesco QQQ Atlanta Classic or something, whatever they're calling it.
The bow tie bowl.
Yeah, at Mercedes-Benz. So yeah, I think that's all we got for the folks. This was an excellent instant reaction at about 4:30 in the afternoon. I was not looking forward to getting on and talking about this game. But man, things changed a lot. Georgia found a way, 44-41. Good old Rocky Top. All home sweet home to me.
Oh man.
And all of Georgia fans. 5 in a row Georgia has won in Knoxville. 9 in a row in this series, matching Tennessee's, I believe, all-time record. They won 9 in a row in the 90s.
Oh yeah, it's getting close.
Next year could go for 10 in a row and could be the longest in that series rivalry. So always, I guess they might not play next year because they're going to switch up the SEC schedule. But that's another topic for another day.
Tennessee, there's always next year.
Yeah, always next year, sir. So this was an excellent game. We might be looking back in December that this was the game of the year in the SEC. This was incredible. A roller coaster of emotions. But yeah, man, that's all I got. As always,
yeah,
go Dogs, man.
Go Dogs. Tennessee is a hell of a team, man.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.